everyone. Thank you so very much for joining me on today's episode. I hope you have been enjoying our previous episode. Please do let me know what your favorite episode is so far. All right, now let's get into today's topic. So I was thinking about what to talk about, as always. And one time I was working out and I realized that as I was working out, my balance was rather very shaky. I do work out from home every now and then. And I thought to myself, why am I shaky? Why am I doing this? I've done this workout before. Then I realized, oh, wait a minute. It has been 4 days or maybe almost a week that I had not worked out. So I did the same workout, but this time around, my balance was very, very bad. And I wondered, okay, fine. I realize now that, because I've not worked out for 4-5 days, this is why my balance is very shaky. And during that time, I came up with this topic. Yes, the principle of consistency. I realized that when I was working out, or if I am working out continuously, I'm able to do some amazing workouts, or if I'm doing something continuously, consistently, I'm able to get good results. But the moment I stay maybe 3 or 4 days without doing it, it feels like I am stretching myself all over again, starting all over again, and of which I do believe that some of us have struggled with this. There are times where we want to do something, and it's hard to keep up. It's hard for us to do the same thing over and over for us to get good results. But this is what the principle of consistency is. You have to do the same thing over and over to get good results. Now, here's something that I found on the net. I was just making sure that I find good content or good meaning of what principle and consistency mean, and I found something that is very interesting. This is in accountancy, and if I am not doing this right, or if I'm not saying it right, please, I stand to be corrected. All right, so there is this topic or say in accountancy which states the consistency principle states that once a business chooses one accounting method, this method should be consistently be used going forward. And I was like, yeah, that is pretty much what I've been trying to do. Picking one thing that I want to do over and over and being able to be effective at it. And that is the only way you are able to do this, or you are able to be productive and be effective. Now, I know that it's not easy to be consistent. Please, I'm here talking about consistent, and I was struggling to do my workout. It means I wasn't being consistent. Now, one thing I've learned with the principle of consistency is that whatever you do, however you do it, you have to do it over and over. That is how it is, right? But what you can do, and what I am also teaching myself to do, is do it one step at a time. It doesn't have to be massive once, or you have to just do, maybe today you do one thing, tomorrow you do it again, and the other day. So don't overdo it and don't overthink it. Just take one step at a time. There is one of my favorite quotes which I like to use every so often to encourage myself. It's the little things that produce massive results. So with consistency, you can't get used to it right there and then. Obviously, it's hard. What you do need to do is find ways to do it bits by bits. So with what I am currently learning, I am learning to read certain books as often as I can. And I told myself, fine, since I don't want to read the whole chapter or four chapters before I go to sleep, I said, how about if you just read 2 pages before you sleep? Just 2 pages, Becky. Don't overcommit, just 2 pages. And that is me building something. It's like creating a habit, A habit, you do it over and over, and finally it becomes part of you. So I was like, fine, let's start with 2 pages. Maybe tomorrow I'll do 3 or 4, and the next I'll do a chapter. And that is how you create the principle of consistency. You doing tiny little bits every single day. Now, there's something I need you to understand. You may be overcommitted and you may want to do so many things at the same time. What you need to understand is that you are dividing yourself. And if you're dividing yourself, you eventually be able to get results that are not, good. I've heard of this, and I think maybe someone has told me this. she's really good at what she does, but sometimes she's not consistent. Now imagine if you were actually consistent. Imagine if you did it every single day, every single time. Whenever you thought of like, okay, I planned to do this today, and maybe it's not as big as I would want it to do. Maybe it's not as big as I want it to be, but for today, this is what I planned, and I'm going to do it. You need to commit yourself to one thing at a time. I know we get excited and want to do everything at the same time, but you are dividing yourself, and you will not be able to get the good result or the results that you need. So you need to commit yourself to one thing and do it one step at a time, bit by bit. Now, here's the downside of consistency. All right, the downside, which I know that you'll be like, what, Becky? There's no downside to consistency. But let me tell you this. When you want to do something, whether good or bad, you are creating yourself, you are being consistent, all right? You're creating a habit, all right? So if you're being lazy, for example, let's just say you're being lazy. You want to do something, but you're like, I don't want to do it now. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow comes, nothing is happening. The other day comes, nothing is happening. Okay, so what you're doing is you're creating a pattern there. Okay, that is, again, the principle of consistency. You are creating a habit of doing nothing. Yes, you're creating a habit of doing nothing. Now, the bad thing about that is that it's hard to break a bad habit. It is very hard. So what you need to do is you need to be aware and, catch yourself. Like, I'm not supposed to do this. I know what I planned to do, and this is not it. If I continue being lazy and telling myself, I'm going to do it tomorrow, then I'll get used to that. I will not be able to achieve what I want to achieve. Bear in mind that it is easy for you and me to do something that is not effective. It is easy to be lazy. It is easy, if you're a Christian, it is easy to sin than to follow God's way of living. Very easy. So you do need to hold yourself accountable. You do. How you do that? Well, maybe you might have friends, or maybe you have to write it down on the wall, or just remind yourself like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I had planned in mind, and I'm supposed to do this. So before it becomes a habit, before a bad habit becomes something that is hard for you to break, bear in mind that you can actually cut it before it grows. Okay? So put yourself in a situation where you're like, okay, there's something I want to do, and I don't have to be overcommitted about it. All I need to do is just take one step at a time. Today I do it. For me, for example, I tell myself, let me just work out at least 3 or 4 times in a week. Consistently. Not today I work out, tomorrow I don't. No. From Monday to Thursday, I need to work out. Now, if I do that for more than 2-3 weeks, they say that you can build a habit after 21 days. And if I do that after 21 days, I can assure you, I've done that before, and the results are amazing. Now, I want to encourage you. Imagine what you can achieve if you did one step at a time. Small little steps that will produce massive results. Today, tomorrow, a day after, and suddenly it's been 3 weeks and it has become part of you. Imagine the amazing results that you'll be able to achieve. So please, I know it's hard, but you can do it. You can do it. I mean, if I can, you can do it. When you fall, get back to what you've been trying to do. And I know that there are times you might fall, but don't stop. Don't get used to the other side of the habit, or don't get used to creating a bad habit. So when you slack behind, don't get used to being in that moment. I know that you can fall, and that is normal, but if you keep on being down, you create another habit, and it will be hard for you to go back to what you had already planned. Okay, so just hold yourself accountable and be able to get back to your plans. That way it will be more effective and more progressive for you. All right, I hope this has been encouraging for you, and that you'll be able to create new good habits. I gotta go now. Thank you so very much for joining me. I'll see you in my next episode. Bye.